Good afternoon, Jernine Russell, back with another episode of Purpose Driven Life. I'm just feeling good. I'm glad to be back. I'm really excited for my guest. I just keep finding all of these people that I've known for over 20 years, and everyone is doing amazing things. And it's a blessing that I got a little message to say I'm in the UK and I'm about to do some podcasts. Let's do this. So I am going to let him he doesn't need any introduction. I'm trying to remember
you better introduce me.
Okay. Oh, sorry. Yes, this is an old and dear friend, Kojo.
What's going on?
Tell me, Kojo, how are you?
Before we start this, you got to tell them what you said to me when I told you that I'm going to come and do your podcast. What you say to them? Because you ain't getting away with that one. I don't know where that come from. You got to tell them.
So I've been doing this for a long time. The reason that I started doing this podcast is not because I wanted to start doing podcasting. I got a tap on my shoulder and God gave me this assignment to speak about purpose. And on that journey in the past 3 years, he's kind of like led me to different people to speak about purpose. Some have been too nervous. Some have said yes. But Kojo was like, I'm going to be in the UK and I'm going to shall we do this? And I was like, oh, this is audacious of you. So he was like, no, it's not audacious. I'm coming to do your podcast. I'm blessing you, So I just love the whole boldness and whatever, because normally I reach out to people. That's all I'm saying. It wasn't like, I don't want you to come.
But the thing is, sometimes I think when what we miss in life, sometimes because we're so focused on it, is figuring out who's paying attention and trying to figure out who's actually watching. And I think the most important thing is always to do something out of purity, which is, this is what you felt called to do. And whoever's watching it actually is none of your business. What your business is to stay focused on the purpose, because you have no idea who's watching. And some people might admire it, some people might think this ain't for them. But because I was watching, as I do with everything, but from a distance, and see the consistency, and when I believe someone believes in their thing, then I can join that. This is what I'm trying to say. So it doesn't matter where I'm at in my life. If one of my friends especially is doing something that I think is important, then I will hit you up and be like, listen, they've given me all these podcasts and yours wasn't on there. But maybe because they don't know, but I know about it. So let's sit down and let's have a catch up, which I think is overdue anyway. Do you know what I mean?
That's true.
So here we are.
I appreciate it.
Backside.
I can do that.
That audacious.
Listen. Right, I'm in charge of this thing today, Right. In charge. Okay.
That's it. Let's go.
So, Kojo and I go, I'm trying to remember the first time. I've known you probably since in my maybe early 20s. I remember working in the West End.
Hey, you better tell them how old I am before that sounds weird.
Why?
Tell them how old I am.
You was in your early 20s as
Thank
well. We're the
much,
same age. Well, there's only a few months between us. That sounded... Okay, listen.
Say something, yeah? Now you got to explain them thing there,
No, listen. You're not R. Kelly. This is none of this business.
No, but you know what's funny? I was in LA. Sorry to cut you. I was in LA and someone goes, I met Kojo when I was 16. And that sounded hella weird. I was like, hey, I was 16 too.
Yeah, no. Okay, for the record, we're the same age. Yeah, so I was working in the West End. And I think people you started doing the comedy show in Corks. And I think maybe me and my sister actually used to come down watching it or whatever. Then it started to grow and you needed some extra hands. We got stuck in, through the door. I hated it. That's just never my forte. But a friend is doing something, you believe in, or you see their vision and you muck in. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
I have literally watched you evolve, and I think you're definitely a pioneer. You're a trailblazer. You are someone who's been consistent with what you do. And I have got so much love and respect for that. And the fact that you have continued to grow and shine and stay true to who you are and what you do. You haven't changed to fit in with whatever, like some people do that. And yeah, I've got a lot of respect for that.
Well, thank you very much. I think we met before Funhouse, though. We met
really?
When I was doing the talent shows. That's when we met.
Because
remember, I was living in
really...
Hackney.
Oh, yeah.
And everyone came around my house one time. Do you remember when everyone came around my house? And we always like, okay, we're going to play.
Did you have a barbecue?
Yeah. I had a whole bunch of things back in the day. That barbecue was fire, though. I ain't gonna lie. I was talking to someone about that recently. But yeah, it was called Give Me Some More.
Oh my gosh.
And this was before Funhouse. So this is the first time I ever went Corks. And when we did something there, and it was a couple of years after when I was like, yeah, like I want to do my comedy club thing. Do you know what I mean? So it was like talent show first, and that's when you guys were involved and helping me. I used to find talent and like people like Reese Von Sell and you know, Cherry V, her name's now.
Oh, I love her.
Cherry V now.
I love
but it was
her
Reese Von Sell
music.
back in the day.
Is that really?
Yeah. All
Do you
these
know
people
what?
was talent
I cannot
there.
remember.
But it was so long ago, and
Wow.
it just gave me and it's just to put stuff on. I was coming up, there was loads of showcases, Black Pepper, Soul Food, like all these different shows back in the day. So I was like, you know, we got to do one, and we had like all kinds of rappers and Sway and all them people that used to come one time. We've been at this for a long time. So I remember you being part of the team, which is great. I think I met you around the soca scene though.
It really.
That's when I
You're
met you.
exposing all of everything today.
Hey, I don't know when
that was back. Life before, like
but people gotta know, like, this isn't like an industry
a foundation thing. Yeah,
I know your mother, you know my family.
Yeah, that's
true. I'm trying to say, like, this is family. So So like we've all kind of come up together.
Oh my! I didn't even remember that you went soca. See, that was when people were jumping on the bandwagon. They knew because you didn't really. Did you really like soca?
No, hold on a minute. I'm part of that crew.
Really?
Yeah, like Dwayne,
DT and all them lot.
All of that. But the thing is, I came, to talk about the soca scene for a second.
Tell me which, this is how I know when you joined the soca scene.
Camden Palace, Kojo.
That's okay. So that's how I know.
And then so the Soca City.
No, but hold on, because it wasn't we didn't start off in Camden Palace.
Oh, you know, that's when I come.
That's why I'm saying, that's why I was asking which venue. Because we started off in Clapton Pond at Dougie's.
Yeah, Dougie's. Yeah, that's where Kojo was first.
Yeah, that's where it was. So I started going. I don't even want to go and expose how. But it was my mum, because my mum is from Trinidad. And she was like, come on, girls, me and my sister, come on, we're going to this soca thing. I was thinking, I don't
big people.
We were moaning, I ain't going to no soca. They're going to just be pure old people. Got to this thing and we said, we're just going to go to the toilet just to kind of look around. We went to the middle of the dance floor and it was just full of young people. And then that was it. For the like maybe 6 years, 7 years. Yeah. That was what I was.
My boy started going and then he was like, you come through. And I was a garage raver then. My little Moschino jeans and little shirt. I turned up at Kojo in the same garage outfit. Bro, I felt like a idiot. Everyone had tracksuit, bottom vest,
very comfortable.
Vest, bandana, flags. I'm there looking with like iron shirt, you know, looking like a damn fool. Never again. Ever since then, it gave me so much freedom. It was the first real time I started really going at garage stuff. I was still a bit young because the best stuff was kind of older people. But soca was for me like where I could be young, youthful, meet so many people who are still friends of mine today. And you know, Reds and all them lot. Do you know what I mean? Like everybody.
You are going in.
Yeah, man. So I remember that like vividly. So it was a good time, man.
Okay. See, so my memory is I blame it on the kids. That's it. Seriously. That's what I blame it on. Because some of it, my brother's the other one who starts to like fill in the gaps of memories because I don't know what happened. But anyway, it's all good. I'm glad you're here. Yes, I'm glad that you laid the foundation of like the years. So it's before 20s then. That is like late teens, I would say. But yeah, I love the fact that we've got that lots of things, and there's lots of friends that we know from Hackney, because I used to hang around in Hackney. There's lots of mutual friends and stuff like that. But I think what is nice, and when you mentioned Cherry V as well, I love that she's still doing that. She's still singing. I don't remember her from back in the day, but I know how beautiful her voice is. Her songs are on my Spotify. I've been to see her in like these little intimate venues. She don't even know who I am, but it's all good. I love good music. She's doing stuff with Loose Ends now. And I love that. Just the evolution of your purpose and your passion. And that's what I think about when I think of you, is that you have been, even when the kind of like the no's and the obstacles come along, you've kind of you've kept on that path. So it's amazing.
Well, thank you, man. I think with me, I've always kind of been like, once I've seen it in my head, it has to happen that way. It has to happen the exact way. I'm very specific, intentional, on purpose. Like I
Ooh,
do everything
love
on
that.
purpose. Do you know what I mean? Everything I do is on purpose. I know exactly why I'm doing it. I don't always have to explain it because I feel like sometimes it's explained in the execution, or it should be. But I've always kind of been like, okay, this is how I'm gonna do it. This is what I want to do. How am I gonna get there? In the simplest forms. When you start complicating things in your head, you deliver them in a complicated way. So I've always kept things very simple, very basic. This is what we're doing. Anything that kind of comes through that is kind of like a blessing of just keeping things simple. But I've always kind of been like, look, I know exactly what it is that I want to do. I know how it should feel. I know how it should look. I know I focus on getting people to come back. Because some people focus on getting people in.
That's true.
I focus always on getting people to come back. That's when you've got something successful, when people want to return. It's the experience, you know.
Yep.
What would make me want to go to an event? What would make me want to come back? That's how I've always kind of delivered anything that I put on. So,
I could think of that like vividly. It was Sundays, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that was like but you saw the same people.
Yeah.
You ended up making friends because
Yeah.
it was the same people that
Yeah.
came each week, you know. And definitely very skilled at creating that atmosphere. Just a place that you want to be, laugh, joke, have a good time. Good, nice people as well. There was not, you know what I mean? Like you go somewhere when those days there'd be trouble or whatever. There was not. It was a good vibe and everybody.
I think it was the place where everybody said, whatever we got outside, you can't bring it in there. because you'd stand out.
Yeah.
You'd stand out if you brought it in there. The place was filled with so much joy and excitement. Like when you walked in, when you walked in, you just felt the vibe.
No, definitely.
Right? You just felt the vibe. You had Longers DJing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you had all this like fun going on. And people came for various reasons. Some people came for the jokes. Some people came for the girl. Some people come for the man. Some people come to shoot pool. Some people came late on purpose to watch the screen. Do you know what I mean? Like there was. Well, some people come for a drink.
Yeah.
Like it was so much going on in there, and so many reasons to go there on a Sunday. And again, no one planned to go every Sunday, but you just found yourself there because it was like, when I come here, I feel good.
Yes.
And that's kind of what I really wanted to do. So I think in terms of like staying true to it, I just. You know, I was speaking to someone recently and they said, oh, you know, could you have done it with all this stuff that you know now? And I said, it would have been horrible. It would have been horrible. If with all the information I have now, the experience I have now, it would have been too perfect. It would have been too analytical. It would have been too, you know what I mean? Like focus on the things outside of fun. I didn't know what I was doing. That's why it was great. I flew in people, had them stay in my yard. I didn't know about hotel.
Wow.
I didn't know about stuff.
That's amazing.
I didn't know nothing about no hotel, none of that. We had a spare room, stay there. Some people slept on the sofa bed. I didn't know nothing about that.
That's authentic.
But them people there, they just wanted to come to England. They didn't care where they stayed. And we was all kind of coming through, do you know what I mean? So it was all of the inexperience that made it what it was. Do you know what I mean? The mistakes, the learning on the spot, that kind of thing. So I'm always going to be somebody who quietly gets on with things. Like you said, you get your ups and downs, but I'm never too loud with my successes, but I'm never too loud with my failures as well. Do you know what I mean? And I just keep going. I'm a long distance runner for sure.
I love that. I love that. Let's get into the questions even. What does purpose mean to you?
Purpose to me is why we're here. That's what I think purpose is, why we're here. Some people think, and very few people will have their purpose and their gift be the same thing. And I think it's 1%. I don't think most of the time that's the thing. So people say, I'm here to sing or I'm here to make people laugh. I think your gift leads you to your purpose. So God will give you a gift that's solely yours. And I don't think most people are exercising their gift. I think a lot of people are doing what other people are good at.
Oh my gosh.
But when you lock into what you're good at and what God's given you that you make look easy to the world, then that will lead you to why you're here.
Yes.
So, for example, I know my gift is comedy. I know my gift has always been the ability to make people laugh, to diffuse, situations to make people forget about their issues. I've done that since I was 6 years old. I've always known I can make. I was excited to make people laugh, but my purpose is to help others, to make other people realize their dream. I know that's my purpose because there's been many times where I ran away from that responsibility, but God always put me in scenarios where I was able to help strangers that I'd never met. Oh, I'm looking for this, and I just happened to have the answer, or I just happened, and it just kept on happening no matter where I went to around the world. And I said, God, why do you keep putting me in these scenarios? I'm tired of helping people. I'm tired. I've the list is long. Like, I need to kind of help myself now. But the reality is, it's about accepting it. It's always going to chase you until you accept it, and when you accept it, is when your gift starts to blossom, because it's only there to prepare you for the purpose, and the purpose is to encourage others and show people how to really go about it. I think a lot of people stand in their own way. I think a lot of people put obstacles, or a lot of people ask questions that they haven't even answer questions that they haven't even asked. There's a fear of asking people, oh, can you come and do my podcast, or can you come and do this, because you tell yourself that what they're already going to say, but you ain't even asked. And I think a lot of people do that. They stand in their own way. And I think I've got a great ability to simplify people's dreams. So when I did my TED talk, the first thing I said is, I hate talking. I hate motivational talking. I hate all of it. I hate all of that stuff. I pride myself on having evidence, because I think there's a lot of smart people in the world who can put words together and make you believe something. But I think that's not really motivation. I think that's inspiration. But motivation gets you up immediately, or it makes you want to get up immediately and do something about it.
Definitely.
So I'm very much a lead by example over being, speaking and kind of getting you geared up and all that other stuff. Like, I like to, once I see somebody do something, I know it's possible.
Yes.
That's what motivated me. That's what really motivated me. When I saw somebody do it, then I was like, okay, I can see how they executed it. So I'm going to try and do something like that as well, and see how that works out. And it's never failed me. I don't listen to much people, but I watch people all the time.
So it's like that, having that tangible, physical evidence. And I listened to something the other day. I like a bit of both, because I like to be able to see that it can be achieved. And I think it was, I can't remember who said it, but they were saying that if you want to do something, look at someone who's doing what you want to do, who's already kind of further along the journey, because then you can not emulate them, but you can see the steps.
Yep.
And when I think about it, it's like, actually, that's a really good way of doing it. This, I tell people all the time, I never chose this, not Kojo. If you're not in it, I'm a background kind of person. I don't really like to be in the forefront. So when God asked me to do this, it was really uncomfortable. I didn't really watch podcasts actually at all. I have only seen, when I started doing it, then one of my friends sent me Stephen Bartlett and said, watch him, because he's really good, and maybe you might be able to, I don't know, get something from it. So that I started watching that, and there's a few, but mainly that's the main one that I listen to. But yeah, I don't know, this is not what was in my mind at all. There's lots of things that I'm good at. Encouraging is definitely one of the things that I do. I do it in lots of different ways. But yeah, having a conversation with somebody, I'm good with people. I love talking, but not with a camera in my face.
I think the things that end up working really well are the things that happen by accident, but they're accidents to you.
Yes, not to God.
Right. You see what I'm trying to say? So you think you stumbled across this, like I stumbled across comedy. I've always been making people laugh, but I stumbled. I didn't know what comedy was. I didn't know none of that. When someone paid me, the first time I got paid to do comedy, £15, I lost my mind. I lost my mind. I had no idea you can get paid to do this.
Wow.
That's not the reason why I did it. I just wanted to make people laugh. So when I found out there's money involved, I was like, wow, I got more of these. So I stumbled across comedy, but that was always in me. So although you may think you stumbled across this, you're not exercising anything that you haven't exercised before. This is part of your trait. This is part of your character. Maybe you was questioning your purpose.
Maybe. Do you know what? I have had moments of that, definitely. Because you know what it is? I have worked with people in the criminal justice system since I was about 20. And the way that happened was, I didn't find it. It came and found me. I was friends with someone who went to prison, and then I kind of saw what he was doing, and he was getting into a lot of trouble. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, you need to chill. Like, you need to like focus on something. And, so it kind of pushed me in that direction. And I've been doing that for so long. And we have conversations. I have really deep conversations with the people that I've worked with over the years. But if someone had, so I think my purpose is to encourage, it's to build people up. Like when you're talking about helping people to realize their dreams, I'm really passionate about that. I think there's greatness in everybody. And sometimes it just needs to be pulled out. So a lot of what I've been doing now is like the coaching. So, you've got this thing, people find it very difficult to execute things.
Yeah.
But sometimes when you tell someone else, I say to you, Coach, my dream is to do this. And you'll be like, okay, do this. That's what coaching basically is. So that's the kind of thing that I've been talking about. So I think there's been times along the journey where you get frustrated, because working with people in the criminal justice system can be really frustrating because you don't see change. You don't see it. Doesn't mean it's not happening.
Well, immediately, you mean?
You don't see it immediately. You only work with people for a certain amount of time. Maybe the longest time I've worked with somebody is maybe 2 years, 2.5 years. So the change you won't get to. So for me, sometimes I need to keep going. I need to see what's like, okay, there's actually fruit from this tree. So I think there's been times along the journey where I felt frustrated and questioned my purpose. So maybe like 2017, one of my young people was murdered. It literally messed me all the way up. And I had to like regroup and think, is this really what I'm supposed to be doing? Because this pain and this trauma that I'm experiencing, surely work should not be making you feel like this.
Do you know what, yeah? For most of us, our job isn't to see the outcome. The outcome is none of our business. What is our business is laying the seed.
Yes.
The issue I think humans have is we want things to make sense immediately, but the reality is most things make sense later on.
Yes.
So when I speak, people think I'm trying to win this conversation or this argument. I'm not. I don't give a damn about this, because we're going to be talking about something completely tomorrow, different tomorrow. But when I speak, I don't speak for you to understand me immediately. That's not the conversations I have on a frequent basis. I speak so when that moment comes up, when that situation arises, you have no hiding place because somebody spoke to you about this. What people love to do is say, I didn't know. But I don't speak. I speak so that you do know. And you may not need it for 20 years.
Yeah, no.
You may not need this for 20 years. But when you find yourself in that scenario, that voice always comes to our head. Our parents raised us. Not everything was exercised straight away, but we found ourselves in scenarios down the line where that voice of our mother, our grandmother, or whoever gave us wisdom, right? It kicks in when you need it. That's so why people speak. It isn't always that you must understand, or I need to see the fruits of all the stuff that I'm pouring into this young person. You may never see it, but someone else will experience what you've said to this person. And I think that's why I speak. I speak because I want to plant seeds into people. And when those situations come, you will hear my voice again. And that hopefully is one that protects you. Do you see what I'm trying to say? Because people are in a rush. As society's become quick. That's why I spend a lot of time in Ghana as well, because the pace is slow. I can hear my thoughts. I can relax a bit. Have my head up a bit more and look around and appreciate the blessings that I'd be missing in England with my head down on the grind. Do you know what I mean? Like,
so true.
So time constraints, all these, you got to do this on time, and it's like, it's too much. It's too much for the brain. So for me, I think when we use our purpose to pour into others, I think we've got to kind of, it's like, okay, I'll give you another analogy. It's like when I was auditioning people for actors for a film that I was in. And what I'd never seen at that time was actors come in, do the lines, say, well, good luck with the project. They just threw it away. There was no attachment of, oh, I really hope I get it. Oh, this one I really want. The only people that do that are people that don't audition.
Okay.
The people that audition all the time,
Yes.
you go,
It's
learn
because
your
it
lines.
becomes like a
There you go.
like
No
a process,
attachment.
right?
No attachment. You go in, you deliver your thing, and you say good luck with the project. When people saying good luck, I felt like, right, they weren't even trying to really be in it like that. Do you know what I mean? But they say they don't attach themselves to this because they just move on, and then what will be will be. And I think that's why, and that's what giving information is and pouring into people. That's what that is. Yeah. Whenever they decide to connect with it or use it, is their prerogative. That's where they have to be part of the solution as well. Because you can only pour into people, but if they're not willing to receive it or ready to receive it, there's not much else you can do. It's not a failure to you because you haven't seen.
It sounds like parenting.
But you know what? It might just be that.
Yeah.
And just because we're adults don't mean that just because we're grown in age don't mean that we're adults. There's a lot of people that haven't had a childhood.
Yeah, that's so true.
And they're big people walking around with no childhood. And that's why I try and really restrain people from saying you're big at your big age and you don't know what people have, where they're at in their world. Their age is one thing, but you don't know where they're at mentally.
That's so true.
Do you know what I mean? So people go through various things. So I try to be a bit more empathetic towards things that I don't know. And when they materialize or if I'm asked a question, then we can kind of delve into it.
Yes. So, your purpose, helping people.
Helping people. Absolutely. Like for me, it's where I think I see the best results. The best results. Think about all the comedians that are doing well now.
No, listen, there's a lot of them.
Right?
I remember seeing in your
there you go.
In your your fun house. Yeah.
And the reality is there's I see more joy in that, in helping people. Sometimes it's just advice. Sometimes it's protection. Sometimes it's, you need a contact. Boom. Do you know what I mean? Because I don't hold on to things I got blessed with. Because it doesn't, if I give it to you, I don't lose it. Do you see what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, that's so true.
You got to go and build that relationship that I had to build now. That's all it is, but you got the contact.
Yeah, and you might not be able to.
Do you know how much people got people's numbers in their phone, they can't even ring them? You got their number, but can you really ring them?
Do you know what? I always think about this, right? You know, like when someone says to you, oh, like, where did you get your T-shirt from? And you can see that person is trying to make up something because they don't want to tell you where they got it from. And it's like, hold on a minute. What is that going to harm you to tell you? Because it's not going to look the same. The perfume, the aftershave that you're wearing is not going to smell the same on Mr. over there. Yeah. So telling him that you wear that aftershave is not. But there's people that are like that. Oh no! If I've got someone in my network that is going to help you, you best believe that is going to be there. If you're my friend, they're your friends too, and it's just like a literal connection.
But I think, part of life is identifying what's real around you.
Yes.
And some people don't like the answers and the revelation that this person that you thought was your brethren has been in competition with you all this time.
That is life, isn't it?
This is what I'm trying to say. And I think people have this shock horror when they realize that, wow, like this person holds information from me and all this time I've just been open with them and that. But people are their own people. And I don't even knock those people for doing that because, again, we're not in their scenario. Maybe you got an abundance and they don't. So when we're asking for people, this is the little, I shine when I wear this cologne, and this little piece of shine, you want it as well. But because you're coming from abundance, you think it's small. But that's the only time that they shine, when someone says, oh, you smell good. So everyone's got a reason why they might hold back information.
That's true.
Right? Because that just might be the little bit of sunlight that they get in their life where they're that person. So when you write films and you write characters, you go into layers and backgrounds of these people. So I see people so differently now. I see people so differently now because there's a reason for everything. And it's not always has to be understood immediately. Sometimes people just go through so much in this world. And we know what 24 hours is like. It's not easy.
No.
Right? Even at the highest of heights. You ever had such a great moment and something negative comes into your head? This is the best day,
Yeah.
But even with the joy, something negative just pops into your head, even if it's for 2 seconds. That's just human nature. Do you feel what I'm saying? So.
Yes. But I want to know, how did you know that your purpose was I love the way that you've distinguished between your gift and your purpose. I like the way you've done that really succinctly, and it kind of helps people with being able to do that, because I think people get misconstrued sometimes with that, because some people, okay, I can sing, so my purpose is to just go around the world singing, but that gift of singing can look like something really different.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm trying to say, and I, that my opinion is that it's two separate things, and very few people make them both.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I don't think there's many singers in the world that where that's their purpose. You see what I'm trying to say? It might soothe people, it might entertain people, it might make people think you're amazing or whatever. But look, I like my favorite actor is Leonardo DiCaprio, right? Maybe like the last 3 or 4 years, I think it was, he won an Oscar. Wow. Everyone knows he's a bad boy. What he won an Oscar for was not his best work, but because his purpose is philanthropy and doing global stuff and working with animals and animals in the sea and all that other stuff that's controversial. That when he's talking about protecting the earth and all this other stuff, some people don't like it, right? And some of these people are part of the Academy Award, and that's his purpose. He's spending his time on, right? So because of that, you're gonna harm his clear gift and his clear talent. And it got to a point where it's like, well, him not winning one didn't change what people thought about his quality. It got to the point where you had to give him one because your awards aren't verified if he ain't got one.
I love that.
It don't make your thing ain't valid if Leonardo don't have one. And that's what it is. But that's people that just focus on their purpose. There's Matt Damon. There's a lot of people who their door has opened them to their purpose. So so your purpose is more fruitful. I can help more people with my purpose because of the gift that's brought all this attention on me. So your gift is like the light bulb that lights up the room. But then the purpose is, what's the message? What's the thing that's going to be left behind when you're gone? How many people are going to be still saying your name when you're not here?
That is so true. So it's like a legacy, isn't it?
There you go. And part of purpose is sacrifice. You're sacrificing something for purpose. That's what it is, And even to drum that home, my mum passed away, as you know. So my mum passed away in 2022. I didn't grow up with my mum, and then there were moments where we was together, and then there was like a long time where we wasn't. And I used to resent my mother growing up because I'm like, why are you raising other people's children? My mum was a nanny in America. So like, how the hell you go over there to raise other people's children? But we're here in foster care doing X, Y, and Z, right? It's only when she passed, right, and I went to, I mean, my mum was cool before she passed, like for a good number of years. But when she passed is when I heard her purpose. As parents, we have a responsibility to our children, but they might not be the purpose. So my mum went to Boston, and all these people that turned up at her memorial and spoke about this woman is the moment I realized that she had to be here for them. That's what God wanted her to do. God gave her children, but my mum's responsibility was making sure that where we were was safe. We was safe. There was never one moment, as long as we was in care, where there was anything to worry about. That's my mum's responsibility. Her purpose was to help this person who had no mother, that person who had no mother, that person who had no father or whatever. The way these people came and spoke about my mum made me realize that her absence wasn't in vain. Now, I'm a child, I'm supposed to want my mum, but I never needed my mother. I never needed her. I wanted her, but I never needed my mum because she made sure that where we were, we had what we needed.
Okay.
Right? And this is deep for me to say that as a man and as a parent. But people sometimes say, oh, I wish I could have done this, but it's because of the kids that I didn't do it and all this other stuff. And I'm just saying, like, my mum sacrificed time with her own children to go and help children that she felt was more in need. Wow. And when you hear these adults speak about the impact that my mum had in their life, there was no point where I needed anything that they needed.
Do you know something? I am blown away by just your take on everything to do with your mum. Like, and that you can look on it and be at peace and have no, like, I can't hear there's forgiveness. That's what I hear.
Of course,
a
yeah.
lot of forgiveness. I can hear that you have really done a lot of work around this. Like, there's a lot of healing that I can hear as well. And a lot of people who've maybe been in care or had a similar experience will not be able to do what you've just done there.
Well, I think, what I'm not naive to understand as well is my fostering experience is unique. I never moved once.
Okay, yes.
So from 5 years old to 17, I was in the same house. That is unheard of. Times that by I was with black people that raised me. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Guyanese, Grenadian. So when I have a Caribbean essence to me, is because that's how I was raised, right? But me and my sister was so blessed to be in that environment and to be in that blessing of never having to move, because we was everything against the stereotype of what fostering does and all the harmful things that can happen, right? But I want my story to come out because I need more people to find their purpose, and it might be looking after other people's children.
I was just about to say that, and
Because
I've just got like this huge goose pimples. It's always like the little reminder of what God's saying. But I've got I know quite a few people, but there's a friend of mine that I go to the gym with, and she fosters. When this woman, I was at lunch with her on Friday, when she was speaking about fostering, I was like, this woman is purposed for this. She creates this safety, love, warmth, protection. She's instilling, morals and values and just teaching these children. And she only has teenagers as well, which I think a lot of people would be like in my mind, I've got my own teenagers, and I do not want to raise anyone else's because I'm finding it quite a challenge to raise my own. But when she spoke about it, I'm like, you know what? You are created to do this. And to hear your experience and the positive experience of fostering, which we don't really hear about, because I think there are other stories as well. But yeah, it's really beautiful to hear, all I can think of is like the growth. Because we ain't had a conversation deeply for a really, really a long time. But yeah, it's really refreshing.
I think for most people, until you see it, it may not be understood, right? So again, when we said about things make sense later on, I resented my mom. I didn't talk to my mom for 10 years. Smooth, normal. Normal. And then my sister rang me one day. She said, Mum's crying. And for whatever reason, I wasn't angry anymore. And then our friendship became stronger and stronger. And again, it only dawned on me when I went to her memorial and heard the receipts. Because that's what it is. When you go out there and you sacrifice, and if you don't come back with no receipts, you've wasted a lot of people's time. You've got to come back with receipts. So when she came out, when I heard the receipts from strangers in Boston, Massachusetts, we don't know no one there. You know what I mean? But that's where she laid her hat down. My brothers were there with her, my younger brothers. And all this community, her old work people, and a woman that just not from here, comes here, plants some seeds, and look at how many people showed up for my mum. It was insane to me. And then listening to the stories, that's when I've really made peace with the absence, because there was testimony, tangible. You're hearing these people say, this is the impact that your mother had. And who am I to know that I was in a blessed place to begrudge this people from having that experience because of this person coming from that place, this scenario, and that person coming from that scenario. There's people sometimes that are more important than us. One time I was talking to my friend and he just was like, bro, it ain't always about you.
It's so true, you know.
Ain't always about you. Sometimes you don't want to hear a conversation because of what you got going on, but it ain't always about you. This person needs you right now. And that's how I look at this. It's a weird thing for a son to say that he understands his mother's absence or his father's absence, but I think I'm a critical thinker and I'm not surface level. If there's something tangible there, if there's testimony there, I'm willing to hear it because there may have been something more important than me.
Yeah.
And it's hard to tell a parent or hear a parent say, my kids aren't the most important thing to me. That sounds wild, but that's out of context.
Yeah.
If there's context behind it, you might understand that, you know what? I'm blessed enough to have my grandma there to help me out. My dad's here to help me out. They can help raise the children, blah, blah, blah. But I'm needed in Rwanda right now.
That's mad. That is, yeah.
You see what I'm trying to say? So when God's got a purpose for you, who's going to challenge that?
It's so true. It's so true. You know, like, I have to come back and watch this and then listen, because that's how I sometimes I need, like, I'm hearing it and I'm like, I'm a deep thinker, so I need it to kind of marinate a little bit to come back and be like, wow. But I feel like, you know, that emoji with the brain, like, that's how hearing you give your kind of overview of your mum's life and her leaving you and your sister and being able to understand that other people need you, like, that just, like, literally, wow. That little emoji thinking, and then the
but my mum was also brave enough to give herself space, and I think even you as a mother, you've got to be brave enough, because when I read Will Smith's book,
I loved it,
and he was talking about the most important thing, remember, and they were talking about the list of it, and I am not interested in anybody that don't put themselves first.
Yeah, I'm learning. You
have to, because but it's hard for you to learn. I think society's trained you to say that's not right. You can't say that.
When you become a mum, that's what society does do. Yeah.
I think when you become a parent.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's a little bit different. Maybe because I grew up with just my mum for a lot of, my years.
Yeah, but at the same time is what your husband's, your partner's role is, right? And his life changed too.
Yeah.
His life changed too. And I think it's not about who's more.
That's true.
It's not. That's all true. Irrelevant. Everybody's life changes once we hear that's coming. And then now it's the decisions that you make.
Yeah, I just think there's a level, and I think it's just me, because not all women feel like how I do, but I've got better over the years, and especially as the kids have got a little bit older and a little bit more independent, and but years ago, I didn't feel like I could leave them and go away, like, and just have, I don't know, 5 days on my own. I didn't feel like I could do that. Now that they're older, they're 16, 14, 10, it's different. Like, I could feel like, okay, you lot are good. They would be good anyway. There's it's not just Marlon. We've got a village that help us raise our children. Yeah. I could have done it, but I didn't feel... maybe I just felt guilty, or I don't know. There was just other things, but I have realised that if you, as a parent, if you don't look after yourself, you can't look after anybody else. And I'm learning.
You try to, and it'll be the worst thing you do.
Yeah, I'm learning to know when I need my space, and I'm very vocal now to say, right, okay, I'm going. I'm just gonna have a walk or whatever it is. Sometimes it looks different. I went on a retreat for the first time, 2 years ago. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to this thing. It was only 2 nights. It wasn't a big deal.
Start slow, but
slow. I needed it. And, but it's also good and important for my children to see that you invest in yourself, that you spend time on yourself, and that that your role is not just to be mum doing all of this madness and then you don't have any time out for yourself. So, it's good. I just booked to do a sewing course, right? It's something that I've wanted to do for ages, kept putting it off. And I was like, no, I'm going to do this thing. I know it sounds simple to some people, but my Jamaican gran gave me her sewing machine. I didn't even know she used to sew. So I mentioned, oh yeah, I want to do this sewing thing. She's like, oh, I've got a sewing. She sent it down with one of my uncles. And I'm like, I can't let that thing sit there without using it. So I'm doing this course. It's only like a 4-week course. I've done lots of different things.
Yeah.
Anything that I feel like, you know what, I'm going to try this.
Yeah.
Counselling I've done. I wanted to do that for like about 15 years. Finally did it. Right. Okay. Yeah, I like it, but this is not for me. Sewing, I just want to do it for creative purposes. So I'm going to do that. And it's for my children to see. Do something, invest in it. Even if you've got a little interest in something, go for it.
Yep.
Try it out, see what it's like. It might be for me. I might just do the course and think, nah, that's just not for me. I don't have the patience or whatever. But you know what? Yeah, investing in myself, I do it. But other people do it in different ways. Some people want to go and get their hair and their nails done. I'd rather just go and do my little sewing course, or I don't know. It's always like a development. For me,
I think it's all little medals, it's all little achievements, it's all things that encourage you, it's all things that remind you that, you know, because fear can creep up in any moment, and you start talking to yourself, and you start telling yourself what you can't do and all the other stuff, you know. But I think those little things are just constant reminders of what's attainable. Yeah,
definitely. So did you wake up and know that it was your purpose to help others, or has that been something you've learn along the journey?
Nah, I just knew I was good at it. When I help someone, it gets done. I just knew that. Again, I was running away from all of that stuff, but when I decided to start running, is when I just kind of just made it. This is what I'm here for. This is going to be possibly the next phase of my life. You know, that I'm kind of, you know, setting up now in terms of development and you know, it's like Jesus put himself through it for other people. And they tell us to, you know, they say, what would Jesus do? And they say, what be Christ-like? And that's what I try to do in the essence of, I'm going to put myself through stuff so that you lot don't have to go through this. There's a lot of licks that I've taken because these lot don't have to go through it.
Do you know what? Marlon and I were having this conversation the other day. And we were saying that some of these new comedians, or the ones who have, you know, we might see more on, you know, whatever TV, you laid some of the foundation. So you've kind of had to endure for them to be able to have that clear kind of
absolutely
the runway.
And it's like you got to be okay with that. Wiley. You got to be okay with that.
Not everybody
Mega Man.
can do
you got to be okay with that. Like all these, no Clark. You got to be okay with that.
That's so true, man.
You got to be okay with that. You know, that generation was the one that took the licks so that these lot can come and make $1 million with 2 songs. And you've had 8 albums and ain't cleared none of that. But the point is, it's not that you wasn't, you know, there would be no them without that. There would be no us without what came before.
Yes, that's
so
true.
It's like, I'm not afraid to get older. I'm excited about what's to come. There's a whole nother level. I'm fortunate enough to do something that you get better as you get older anyway.
Yes.
There's very few jobs where very few jobs where you can still be doing this at my age. So it's
so
like,
true.
So I'm blessed to kind of be in that field, but ultimately it's about being okay with the time you got your opportunities, the opportunities that are yet to come. What does work look and feel like in the next 5 years for you? And it's important that you also celebrate those who are coming up after you as well. Do you see what I'm trying to say? So again, I've taken licks, and you know, I have people go, "Oh, bro, you should be doing this." And so, bro, everything I got is what I should have. Yeah, and what's to come is what I should have.
That's so true.
That's it. I don't
being
want
okay with that as well, because I feel like some people are like, "Oh, but you know, that guy's okay. That's the road that he is going down." This is, and I say this so often, but I need to stay in my lane. This is Jernine Russell's lane. This is where I'm going. Don't get me wrong. There'll be times when after my tire bursts, I need to go over there and you know, get that sorted out. But I can't look over there and be distracted by that person doing over there what they're doing.
One thing I've seen too many times is when I see what people have done to get certain things, I'll be like, okay, I'm good. Mind your business, man.
Yeah. And that's the other thing that people don't see. You know, you see, like, I can't remember what it was, but you see little things. You know, I was talking about how people are famous and the things that they're famous for, like doing absolutely nothing. This is not to say what I'm going to say next, but my daughter was like, oh, Mum, did you see that Molly May has got a deal with, I can't even remember who it is.
Pretty Little Thing or something.
No, that's who she used to do it with. I don't know. I don't know if he's M&S, whatever it was. Yeah. And I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. You know, she said, oh, that's why people want to go on Love Island so that they can become famous. Yeah. I said, listen, you can go on Love Island and act a fool and still nothing come from it. You know, whatever shortcuts or whatever ways that these people want to try and do what they're doing, leave them to get on with it. Because once you're walking and you wholeheartedly know that what you're doing is the right thing and what God is asking you to do, then you're going to be good. I'm not here for the numbers, Coach. Like, I just want to have a wholesome conversation that is going to bless somebody else, to help them to not maybe make mistakes that we may have made, like when the purpose was calling us and we were trying to run, but to just embrace it and to just have a good life, a wholesome life, a life that you can look back and be proud of, and that your children can look back and be proud of. Because I could have been doing all sorts of things that my kids might have been like, oh my gosh, what was my mum doing? What was she wearing? What was she? Oh my gosh, do you know what I mean? Well, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I worked with Russell Simmons for like a year in New York, and the one thing that I take away from that experience was when he said, there's an expiry date to take in, but there's not an expiry date to give in. Yeah, you will always be relevant if you're of service to people. If you're somebody that takes, they will find someone younger than you to give to.
I love that. It's
easy to kind of just move on and give to someone else. But if you're a giver, there's always going to be generations that you can give to. You're always going to be relevant. You're always going to be in a job if you are of service to people. And I think for the most part, there's been times where I've forgotten why I do this. Yeah. Because I just felt like, as a human being, it's like, no, this ain't worth my time. I don't want to do that. What am I getting from that? But that's because I forgot that I'm of service to people. Yes. Do you understand? I forget why. I just wanted to make people laugh. £15 changed me. It made me feel like, okay, there's more out there. How much they paying me? Nah, that's not worth my time. But there's someone there that I've never seen you before that might be a huge fan, and that's why sometimes you humble yourself. That's why, like, so I've been around Chappelle and Chris Rock and Kevin, right? And a whole bunch of other people. And the thing to do in America that they do is they don't get paid to do comedy clubs. They spend their whole time doing comedy clubs. They'll just pop up. And I'm the only one that these promoters can tell you that does that. I'll just pull up. I'm not on the flyer. I don't want none of that attention. I will just pull up and bless it. That to me is because I'm a student. I'm still a student. I want to go and work on something new. There's less pressure. I ain't got to worry about that. They didn't even know I was going to come. Let me go and have fun with these people and get better. That's my gym. The stage is my gym. This is where I work out. So that for that great opportunity that comes in, and then I'm ready. But in America, you see them pop up. Cat Williams just pull up, do an hour. Chappelle. Well, these people just pull up. No one pays them. None of that stuff. Because they don't want money from that level anymore. It's just, let me come and touch the people and go back to where I'm going. And I think those are people that I admire. Those are the people that are students of the game. No matter how big they get, they still come back to the dungeon. And that's because that's where they know if it gets through there, that's when it's real. Do you know what I mean? You can get into a space where people laugh at you because you're famous. Yeah. And you can hear that laughter. It's not the same.
It's not genuine.
It's not the same, man. No, it's not the same.
So tell us a little bit about your journey and the steps that you've taken to walk in your purpose.
I think when I found comedy, it was the first thing that I felt like no one can't take this from me. So I used to play football. And I've written my autobiography as well. And most of it is about football. And people will be surprised.
Really?
Yeah. People will be surprised. But I had to work hard at that. I had to be on time for that. I had to be in the right mind frame. As a youngster, I was the kind of person, if you told me something bad, I'd believe it. If you told me something positive, I'd believe that too. So I was very susceptible to kind of what people thought about me, and it would impact me Very, very. So I was really good, and then I played with the older lot, and that's where I lost the love of playing football because I felt bullied. I was constantly told I wasn't good enough, and I believed it. And someone so gifted was now doing everything wrong because I was overthinking everything because of the energy that I was around. One of the best footballers that I think has ever kicked a football was around me, and even the same people that was talking negatively brought him down.
Yeah.
This person was at Chelsea. I'm telling you, I still to this day, I don't know anybody that has kicked a football like this guy. But the energy that we was around brought this man down. Then he's drugs, all this other stuff, and that happens a lot in our community.
Yeah, it does.
So many dreams get broken because of the energy that we're around,
so
right?
True.
So for me, when I found comedy and I was interested in getting to do that, and I saw myself doing it. And I was like, yeah. And even the same people, I invited them to a show one time, and I remember they were trying to, you're gonna flop, you're gonna do
wow.
yeah. But once I conquered that, and they were there in the room, and I killed it, there's no one could tell me nothing. There's no one on this planet. I found what my gift is. You call me at 6 a.m. in the morning, I can do a show. There's no hour of the day where you can't call me and say, I need to do something that I'm going to and ah. If it came down to saving a family member's life and you told me to pick one thing to master, I'm picking stand-up. How many people would pick what they want to do?
That's true.
If somebody's life depended on it.
Yeah.
Yeah? So I know I'd pick comedy because I know I would excel and I would execute convincingly. So I found the gift that I'd been searching for as a youngster. No one can deter me from it. I see myself in lights. I see it all happening. I didn't limit myself, as you know, to England.
Yeah.
I made those people come to us. You know what I'm saying? People that we watched on Def Comedy Jam, I made them come to us. So I went over there and I said, come over here.
Yeah.
And they came over. And they respected me because of my hustle and because they kept on seeing me come back and forth. I had no idea what I was doing. All I knew was to be kind, because that's how I was raised, to be confident and to keep it 100 with people. I was bringing people over and I'll be like, hey, there's £300. I didn't know about no hotel, no none of this. So we was all coming up together. That's why I have all these relationships that I have now. Because no one saw me going doing the dirty work. They just see all the people that I'm around, but no one understands what it took to have those relationships. The Russell Simmons, the Stan Lathans, the Bob Sumners, the Chappelles, all these people that I can call friends and people that look out for me. It's because I went and earned those friendships. And for me, once I did that, I was comfortable to allow others to excel. I once asked an actor, a very well-known actor, if they could support my film financially. And they didn't come through for me. And then I realized that some people aren't as comfortable as you think they are. Because it's the easy for me to do is get into my feelings and be like, oh, my man's, he's got it. Why can't he just come and blah, blah, blah. People be in other people's pockets.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the reality is, he might have it, but how much of it does he actually have?
And
so
true.
Him not supporting me don't mean that he's broke. It just means that he don't have that to throw away.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? She don't have this to just give away on what you feel might work and be good. And I understood that, and it was like, no, it's not personal. I just understand that for me, he clearly doesn't have that at his disposal to just be like, and it is what it is. So there's times when people think I'm in a certain position, they'll be like, but you should be able to, do you know what I mean? Or you owe me money, but you feel like, oh yeah, but it's not urgent for you. Yeah, but you don't know that. You don't know that. You just jumped into my pocket and told me how my financial situation is. And I think that's what people do sometimes. So for me, I think once I found that, I started to bring other people in. When I did Choice FM, when I did radio, the girl that was hosting me, Jade, I pulled the Jade from nowhere. No one didn't know no Jade. This girl from Gloucester came to London, just wanted an opportunity. I grabbed her because I didn't see her getting another opportunity without me. So I said, come, all I want is good vibes and just have a good laugh in the morning. I didn't want all the extra stuff that I'd experienced before with the other person. So again, I brought her through. Babatunde, his sister, came up to me. Oh, my brother does comedy. Come through. I never done no audition for me. I've never been the judge of comedians. The audience will tell you everything.
Yeah.
You come
So
down there,
true.
especially us,
That's
we
a
start
hard
like this.
audience. Yep.
We start
But
like this.
I remember him from them.
Yeah.
I remember
There you go.
and thought, oh yeah.
There you go. So for me, I've always kind of been someone like, once I know my feet are rooted and I'm comfortable, you can put people on your shoulders and you can take them places. And those who are genuinely comfortable are the ones who you see helping religiously.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that aren't in the position that we think they're in. That's why they're unable to kind of just make that their priority to help others. And it's not a bad thing. It's just that they're still figuring it out for themselves. Maybe what they're doing, they're unsure of. I fully knew this is what I'm going to master. So it allowed me to bring other people in.
Yeah.
So that was the gift, excelling. And then the purpose was doing it intentionally, doing it in spite of, separating that and being like, I just want to help you anyway. And I go to LA and I've got a whole community of people. I just shot 2 movies with some really prominent actors during a strike and everyone came out for me. Now, this is some East London boy from Hackney that's in Hollywood shooting with all these actors because of what I represent, because they believe that I'm no nonsense and I deliver and I execute. And you don't get these blessings by just being talented. Yeah, people only get on a train that's going somewhere.
That's so true.
If it's parked, no one gets on. But if it's going somewhere and you're already in motion, you've already taken the risk yourself, then people will jump on board. And I always say to people, it's important. You're responsible for starting. You're responsible for turning them lights on. No one is supposed to just come help you turn this light on, then figure out where we're trying to go, all that. No, you be in motion and then that's when you get passengers. So for me, I think it's just more like one thing led to another. And I think because of the purity of my intentions of doing what I'm doing, genuinely finding my gift from God, that's when like everything else kind of led to the purpose.
Love that. I'm going to enjoy listening, but I listen to it anyway. But you get something different every time you listen to something,
Of course. I was watching that Baby Reindeer thing. Have you seen it?
Oh my gosh, my daughter has watched it, right? I was like, do you know what? I'm going to have to cut this Netflix thing, because you lot are watching some really dark things. And she's like, Mummy, I don't know. Like, Daddy definitely shouldn't watch it because I know what he's like. He doesn't like things like this. But I don't know. It's almost like it's putting me off a little bit. So my daughter said, oh, it's like, there's some like deep things in it. And then I've heard it from like grown people who are like, wow, that was heavy. It's
like watching someone pimp and bust spots on people's back.
Ugh, I don't like things like that.
Yeah, but some people can't. They love it.
No,
but you know what I'm talking about.
Dr. Pimple Popper. There's like this little thing that the kids used to watch.
Yeah, but I'm saying people love seeing things like that. They know it's nasty, but they can't get their eyes off it. And I think with this thing, the reason why I use it as an example is it's it's mad, but you got to understand why it's mad.
Okay.
It's like some people will say, throw R. Kelly in the bin and we're done with him. No, I want to get into that mind. That's why some people watch true crimes and all these things.
I watch a lot of these things.
Murders and all the other stuff. Because you want to get into the mind of the killer. Because some people are like, why would you want to know all of that? But it's the thing that you probably shouldn't care about, but you do.
No, I do. And it's like something, and I think, is there something wrong with me?
There you go.
Because I've had this thing from a young age. And I think that's why I ended up working in the field that I went into. But it's the psychology behind it. And I think I will enjoy Baby Reindeer if I can get past. I will watch it.
But I think you will understand that because he saw the crazy and he couldn't ignore it. He could have just been like, no, I'm not giving you this drink. But he wanted to continue it because, he's like, this is outrageously crazy, but is this really happening? And sometimes you stay in it to see if it's really happening.
I'll watch it and then we'll have a conversation about it because I'm like, wow, okay.
It's wild.
Okay. So your journey has been absolutely incredible. It's still going, which is what I love as well. But if there was like a young Kojo sitting there wondering, how am I going to find my purpose? What should I do? What advice would you give to that?
I said it earlier. If somebody's life depended on it, that you know you care about a lot, and they said you got to be brilliant at something, yeah, and you only get one go at it, and this person lives or they die, whatever that thing is you're gonna go and do, that's what you believe you're talented at. That's what it is. You don't waste time with what looks good or what other people make look good. Yeah, if there's struggle, right, in your delivery, there's a reason for it, because there's something that you can do with your eyes closed. And the world might not be, excited about it right now. It might be sewing. It might be sewing, and you just think all I'm doing is going to this little sewing thing, and then you get there and you're like, right, why am I finishing before everyone else? How come I've got 3 jumpers already and everyone's still on one? And you realize, no, this is a skill that I'm making look easy, because all these other people in the class can't do this. You're standing out. What's that thing that makes you stand out? Sometimes we are so afraid of ourselves that we won't unlock it because we don't really want to look in.
Yes.
Because it's, when you look into yourself, there's so much trauma and experience and fear, right?
Yeah.
And we all have it. But it's about getting to that space where you're not afraid of yourself. And some people know what they're good at, but they don't. There's also a fear in shining. People might not know this about me, and this is something that I'm really working on, and because I've discovered it recently, and I know what to call it now. I suffer from social anxiety.
Say what?
I've suffered from social anxiety for years. You think about every time you came to the comedy club, where was I?
Yeah, usually in the background.
In the DJ booth.
Is that where you used to be?
I used to stand in the DJ booth. You never see me walking around?
No, you didn't. I never saw you walking around.
But it's my thing. Everyone's here because of me.
I didn't know that.
Everyone's here because of me. But I didn't want anything extra than what I already got. With everything that I've accomplished, I could be the loud person and doing all this rah, 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 rah. But it brings more attention that makes me anxious. I don't go anywhere by myself. It's taken me to be in LA and be comfortable being away for a little bit to get used to turning up by myself. But I don't like going nowhere by myself. I feel vulnerable. I'm not good at small talk.
Yeah.
I'm good at small talk.
So wild. That is so crazy.
But it still is something that makes me very uncomfortable. If somebody sees me at the airport, they'll be like, yo, bro, like, all of that, too much. Why are we shouting? My best friend Zav, he's gonna watch it. He's gonna bust up, right? Because we was going Ghana. I brought him because I got a house there, so I brought him to Ghana with me. And this guy, African man, came up to me so loud with his thing, and he just made everybody in the airport go,
Ghanaians are loud. What are you talking about?
Hey, this one ain't.
You're not you. Oh, it's because you're a Ghanaian by blood.
Yeah.
But West Indian by nurture.
I mean, they ain't quiet people either. You understand what I'm
Who,
saying?
West Indians?
Yeah, they ain't quiet people
Listen,
either.
don't
Yeah?
talk about my people. I'm joking.
But I'm saying,
joking.
like, for me, I don't like any more attention than I get. I don't like any more. It makes me very, very uncomfortable. And I'll give you a little story. I was in IB for doing a show. And this is what happens. My mat's sharp.
Yes.
Yeah? I try and remain in the background because my mouth sharp. Yeah, and I know how sharp it is, and I don't use it often. But every now and again, I got to protect myself. So I'm walking past, right? And there's these group of girls that are walking past. Now I'm going to do a show. They're part of like this weekend thing. This is another reason why I like to turn up on the day that I'm performing. Because you hang around with these people, then they start getting a bit over familiar, and that's something that I don't like. I don't like people getting over familiar with me. Yeah. So I'm walking past these people. I'm anxious. Me one by myself. I'm walking past about 10 girls. The biggest one out of all of them jump out and go, oh, I know who you are, loud. I know who you are. You used to go to my college. And I was like, I did not go to college with you. And then she said, wow, like, why did you say it like that? You made me feel small.
Oh.
And I was just like, how in that moment have I become the villain? Did you care at all that I may have been nervous walking past you ladies? Or am I the person that you know, so I must be confident, or I must be comfortable with this because you see it happening. It doesn't mean that I'm comfortable. It means that you brought a side out of me that made me feel like I had to protect myself. I had to say something so that there would be nothing after I spoke. Because I don't want to go doing this back and forth. But she made it about her in that moment and gave no feeling to what I may have been going through, being anxious, walking past 10 women by myself, going through this. There's one thing to do that just as a man, which is not an issue. But these people know me. You lot got one up on me. I have no idea who you lot are.
Yeah.
There's nothing about you lot that makes me comfortable to be like, hey, you know what I mean? But because I'm in the public eye, part of being in the public eye is like people treat you like public property. And they feel like they can just say whatever to you and you can't say nothing back. And I'm saying, you don't know how I was raised and where I come from. But not many people get away with that. And then he thinks he's too much of himself. Or what's his problem? I do everything. I saw a quote, right, that says some people do everything to be seen, and other people do everything to not be seen.
Yeah.
I'm the latter. I do everything to not be seen. And part of that is my trauma. Part of that is not good, because it's like you're gonna dim your light. And when I look at some people that are doing better than me, I can't fathom being in that position because I know what I'm going to have to deal with. So sometimes I purposely have sabotaged my career because it keeps me at a place where I can survive and live. I can live down here because if I go up there, I'm going to have to do too much. I'm going to have a whole list of things that I can't do.
Yeah. And
one thing about being around people like Chappelle is I want freedom.
Yeah.
That means more to me than anything else. The freedom to be able to say what I want to say, even though I know that I've got respect.
That. Yeah, no.
Yeah, I ain't out here being outlandish and being cussing people off.
Apologies all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, I offended these people, so now I have to say a statement to say
all of that, which is nonsense. It's a routine. But for me, I'm a man of the people. I liked, I can still shine at the level and do my things quietly. There's so much things that I do behind the scenes quietly. You understand that you'll find out about when it's time. But I don't need to be at the forefront of everything because that's just not my spirit. That's just not my energy. And it makes me very, very anxious. So sometimes I have done things purposely to just be quiet over here so I can still no one sees me coming and I can just still do my stuff. But again, Chappelle to me is the definition of freedom. They took everything away from him, right? And he walked away, and it took him 13 years to gather himself and build himself up on his own terms. Yeah. Where you can try and do a rally and a march or whatever. You can't touch this man because the industry didn't make him. Not this version of him. He went away and done that by himself. And that's freedom. He goes anywhere in the world he wants, performs, comes back, and people gravitate at it because deep down people want the same freedom. But they've too engrossed in the business and that sponsorship deal. You think Kevin Hart can say half the things?
Yeah, nah.
Right? And he'll get the success for it and all the money and the brand deals and all of that stuff. Dave Chappelle don't have no brand deal. Right? But he's the people's champ because he's the voice for the voiceless. I don't want to be the person that has all these deals and I can't say nothing. That's not living to me. That's a prison. Couldn't think of anything worse. So sometimes it isn't that someone's doing better than you, because I find success where I'm at. Yeah. Success that I don't believe people have copied or mirrored. Do you know what I mean? So I'm cool, man.
That's good. It's good to, I think you also have to define your own success. Yeah. Because that person's success is not the same as mine. Do you know, I am at a point in my life where I work 3 days a week, doing something that I know how to do and I'm good at doing. Not necessarily what I really love and enjoy as much as I used to, but it allows me to be present for my kids.
There you go.
Right? In a way that I always dreamed about. Right? So when they come through the door, I'm here, I'm at home. Yeah? If they come home and I'm not there, it's like, they phone me, Mummy, where are you? So I love that. I'm present for them. I get time for myself because my mental health, my well-being is really important to me because, as I said, there was a time when I weren't looking after myself, things happened in the work that I was doing, and I don't ever want to go back there.
Yeah.
I literally looked at this picture. I think it was a couple of weeks ago. Some friends came around and we'd gone out, and there's a picture of us all. And I look, like, aesthetically, I look really good. Like, I look back and think, oh my God, I wish I could still fit in that dress and da-da-da-da. And I look all right, but I weren't in a good place.
That's one thing about black people, man. We never look like what we're going through.
I'm telling you.
We would never look like what
I'm
we're
telling
going
you. I look, so, but I can remember how I felt inside.
Yeah.
And I don't ever want to, so for me, my well-being, going to the gym, doing certain things on the days that I don't work, coming to do this podcast, God knew that I needed this, not just for other people, but for myself. There's things that you said during this thing that I'll go back and I'll listen to. I watched a podcast from 2021 that me and another lady did. And I just was like, oh my gosh. The things that we were speaking about just spoke life into me. And you know what? This is going to be there forever, isn't it? People can go back and watch it, or whenever they want to. I can go back and watch it and be edified.
Yeah.
And that is what this is doing. So sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm working just to like come to the studio, to pay to come to the studio and do this and do that. And it's not, I could be using that money for other things and whatever. But then I'm like, you know what? I have to be obedient to what God's asked me. You're talking about your mum making, this is a sacrifice, financial sacrifice for me at the moment.
It's an investment.
But, I do see it as an investment
it's
as
an
well.
investment,
Definitely. And we just don't. We just keep, I'm doing what I love right now. I didn't ever think I could say that I love doing it. I love the speaking. Like, I could do this all day. Not with the cameras, but we're here and I'm doing it. So
I think it's a repetition makes you comfortable.
Yes, it does.
I think the more you do it, the more comfortable you get. You'll watch back and be like, oh, I thought of this question and I thought of that question, and you just write them down and you put it in something else. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's just growth.
I've had 4 questions from the beginning. Then I did a live one with my sister. We did a live event and we had so she was my guest. Purpose personified, that woman. Absolutely amazing. I'm so proud of her. So then we swapped roles in that live one, and she asked me the questions because nobody ever asks me the questions. And then we got a new question. So I've kept the same format because you have a natural conversation anyway. So things happen, we have a discussion about all different things, but the kind of the basis, the kind of
have you seen
foundation is
Inside the Actor Studio?
No.
Watch it.
Okay.
Same questions for everybody.
Yeah. I like that because I
same questions for, and obviously the main interviews tailored, but then there's an ending bit that is just the same things: favorite sound, favorite smell, favorite sound, favorite smell, all these little bits, and you just get that bit. That's the bit where you just really get the juices from that person. You're like, okay, these is the little nuggets. You're gonna get information, but like these are the bits where you feel like you're getting to know someone. And I think repetition is good. People know what to expect as well, and I think it's the same 4 questions that anybody can give you different answers to.
That's it, and that's the thing that I love. I love that everybody's asked the same thing. Even the main one. What does purpose mean to you? Yeah. Imagine that you could do this for 3 years with all these different guests answers. And get different answers every single time. I absolutely, I'm in a good place. I'm happy.
Good.
And I prayed about this. So I'm actually living it out.
You got to.
People think sometimes when you're earning this amount or when you do, no, happiness can be found in like the smallest things. Watching you speak about your mum and the experience that you've had, and as a maybe 15-year-old boy where you're like, rah, I need you, and you've got this anger, you've got this resentment, but being able to come now and at this point of your life and look back and say, you know what, you needed to do that. I get it. And I understand and I forgive you.
Yeah, but it takes bravery.
It takes
bravery, man. But this ain't, unfortunately, those who aren't brave won't really experience life at its fullest. And And there's moments to be brave and there's moments to kind of just be like, hey, let me chill. It ain't a fearless thing where you're just running out there and just being brave. That's not bravery. That sometimes can be ridiculous. But I think it's calculated bravery. It's knowing when. And, you know, there's 4 seasons for a reason because there's different times to be different, another version of yourself. And everything we've done, is a version of us, good or bad.
So, do you know what? I was having this conversation with my 14-year-old yesterday. She bought me this beautiful orchid for Mother's Day. And I kept it in my bedroom and it was full of flowers. And she was like, my mother-in-law's and her orchid from Mother's Day is all flowering. So she's like, oh, Mummy, you killed the one that I bought you. And da-da-da-da-da. And I said, no. I said, plants have a season.
Yeah.
I said, now all the things are bare.
Yeah.
But there'll be a time. I said, it's like you, at this moment, you're still kind of shy and, you know, you haven't found yourself. But I'm going to look on you and you're going to be a confident, beautiful, amazing woman. But that's not who you are at this particular moment of time. You haven't got your leaves yet. It's like a butterfly. I love butterflies. Yeah. And I think of their journey. Yeah. You know, they start off with this little thing crawling like there's a little caterpillar and a cocoon. You know, lockdown, I was in a cocoon, man. It was nice. I went in. It was, I know people speak about it being really, I just was like in my nice, safe place.
But you know what it is? You have to remember though, that the people who I think had a good pandemic were people who save for a rainy day, people who have been building family, You have to remember, some people only decided to start building family when that happened. Oh, okay, I need them now. And you haven't been working on it. So for a lot of people, and some people were just by themselves. So it's like, you was already in the rhythm of whatever this world has to offer, we got us.
That's true.
Many people only turned to us when this situation happened because they didn't want to be by themselves. And it must have been good for you because you was always in that rhythm. All you got to do now is enjoy each other's company and you all live together. And it's, you know, this is what you do. We've been doing this. We've got to do it even tighter now. But there's a rhythm there. And, you know, if you're somebody that lives by themselves, now you're starting to look for some company that can pull you in any direction.
Yes.
Family members that you ain't gone to check. Now you all of a sudden you calling people. They ain't got time for you like that because there's no rhythm of, oh, why are you calling quite often? Do you know what I mean? And you need them more than ever, but you've not been watering that plant.
Yes.
Do you see what I'm trying to say? Yeah. So that pandemic was different experiences, but I think it, in a nutshell, is based on whatever your rhythm was before that is what you're going to experience. And even for me, like, I took away, you know, when I asked people for favors, how have I poured into them before the favor?
Oh my gosh.
What have I been doing to earn this favor?
That is so, oh my gosh. Do you know what?
One thing about me, I look at myself first. I don't blame no one for nothing. Nothing. I always look at myself. I always make sure that I earn stuff. People don't want to earn stuff no more. Right? And when I tell people, like Chris Rock said, the amount of people that come up to him now with 1 million followers on Instagram that he don't know, and they speak to Chris Rock like you should know who they are.
When he's done the work.
Yeah, and he's like, they're so shocked when you go, I'll check out your stuff sometime. They're like, you don't know what I'm doing. Because they got more followers than Chris Rock, right? And they think that, and it's a thing.
But that's some people's measure of success. We were just talking about that. Some people think before you could do this new blue tick thing, but when it was a thing where Instagram was kind of giving it to people, people thought, I've arrived. I'm about it. But it's actually, really?
The thing is, this whole Drake thing that's going on with Kendrick, and I've been saying this for so long. The entertainment industry is full of people that weren't them, that weren't that girl. You weren't that guy. Money has made you think you are now that person, but even with money, you still don't know how to talk to people. You still don't shine with money. Do you know how much people shine with nothing?
Yep.
Nothing. They don't
Yes.
have to wear all the latest blah blah blah. Like they don't have no big logo saying, you know what I mean, all this other stuff. Because like they are bigger than the logo.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's other people that need that cosign, because if they don't have these things, people won't flock to them. And I've seen this so much. And Drake is a good example of someone who, you know, wasn't this this kid. You weren't that star. You weren't that. And then the moment you get into the thing, you look what you're doing. You're sleeping with your friends' girls.
I don't know what pastor these lot are getting. I'm not interested.
No, but I'm saying like,
but
that's
I know
just the loudest example.
No, it is. No, I get it.
Yeah.
I understand it. But what I'm saying is,
they don't know how to chat to girls. These people don't know how to talk to girls.
I just think I get frustrated that this is where there's real stuff going on in the world.
Yeah. But the reality is,
and we're focusing on that.
Yeah, but again, do you know what it is? Because it's something that you can absorb that you don't have to do nothing about.
Yes.
Right? There's no shame on you. Right? You don't feel guilty when you see two people going back and forth. But there's guilt when you see this people starving over there. No. There's people in wars over there. There's guilt. You think, oh, what else can I do? What can I do? And you feel like you feel helpless. So people try to avoid being in those mindsets, you know what I mean? And entertainment is an escape from people from thinking about what's really going on.
Yeah.
You know? But yeah, man, this journey is a journey, and I think you just gotta kind of like, when you're trying to get to your purpose and all the other stuff, there's gonna be loads of speed bumps, you know what I mean? And if you're driving at the right speed, you ain't worried about them.
I love it. You did send me some gems, you know. I'm gonna have fun choosing the nuggets.
The cuts.
The cuts, man. They're the best. Coach, what can I say? It's been amazing.
The audacity
Thank you for being audacious, Kojo.
The audacity of me. Can you imagine?
Yes.
No, I want to say to you, though, in closing, like, you know, thank you for having me. I think your platform's great. Hopefully more people can come on that you admire, that you respect, that you have love for, and just keep going. And I think, don't make it your business to see who's watching. Just make it your business to keep creating and just keep putting things out there, because you don't know how far it will reach. You don't know if somebody in Dallas is caught on to your thing. You know what I mean? Don't speak locally, speak globally.
Yes, definitely.
Definitely. Like, and don't limit your guests to people that are just here. You know, there's a whole bunch of people that are down for good conversation, and as big as they are, they probably don't get really good interviews.
You know what? I do think so. I agree with that. I've been audacious in who I've sent or asked them to join me.
Uh-huh.
And I will continue to be like that, because there's things that I've listened to that have said, if you don't, you have to keep saying, keep asking.
Yeah.
All that they can do is say yes or no.
And no is just not now.
Yeah, that's true.
That's all it ever really is.
And I think that about prayer. You know, like we pray and we ask God for things.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes he's not saying no, he's just saying not yet.
Yes.
Because most of the time it's because we're not ready.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? So this conversation was the right timing, the right moment.
Yeah.
And, you know, I've laughed, obviously. And, but it's really, I like having this space, because there's people that I have approached that have said, who, me? Like, why? Mm. You know? And I think some platforms is only because somebody's this level. Do you know what I mean? Where I think this should just be a space for people, anybody who's walking in their purpose and doing it, and who can actually share that with somebody and encourage somebody to do it as well. But I wish you all of the best.
Thank you very much.
I know you're going to keep doing what you got to do anyway, regardless.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I love watching growth and evolution, and the man in front of me has definitely done that.
Thank you very much, man.
In a really beautiful and in a really deep way, Coach.
That's the thing, man. Whenever I go on these podcasts, I don't catch no joke. I don't get to make people laugh. I do naturally.
A little bit, yeah.
But it's always deep, because you know what it is with comedians, we're deep people.
No, I know this, because you kind of put your stuff out there as well.
Well, this is what I'm trying to say. Like, and please watch my new special.
Yes.
It's from, I don't think there's a better comedy hour you're going to see this year. Fact. And just watch it. I think it's the best work I've ever done. I think it's dedicated to my mum. It's about her passing, and it's the most vulnerable I've ever been. This is the real version of me. This is the version of me that I've held back for 25 years.
Wow.
Like, there's people that have known me for 30 years that don't know half of the stuff that's in there. And I think this is the funny side of it. And then hopefully the book comes next year.
I was just about to ask when the book was coming.
The book's definitely going to come next year. It's done. So it's
I
just a
remember you
matter of-
writing it.
Yeah. I think,
Wasn't the right time.
do you know what? Even
Have you added to it?
I did during the pandemic, but like I wanted to finish it in the pandemic because I ran away from the book because it got to a space where it was very dark for me.
Yes.
And I needed to give it like 8 months. And then pandemic happened and I had nothing but time. So I
Yes.
finished it then, got it to a place where I feel like, okay, this is what I want to talk about in this book, you know?
Okay.
And listen to me, it's everything from my first memory to going on tour after Britain's Got Talent. When I tell you it's everything, it's everything.
Oh, wow.
It's very deep. It's very, very deep. People are going to be very surprised. I name people in the book.
Oh.
And because I think the overall message of the book is we are all part of someone's life story.
Oh, that's so
And
true.
we're either a hero or a villain. Unintentionally.
That is so true, you know.
There's somebody that you couldn't help and they've never forgiven you.
Oh.
But they don't factor in that you just couldn't do that at the time. But because of where they were and what they
Came from
needed.
a place of offense.
And they've got you in their thing as like, no, spread bad word about you, all this other stuff. And it's all because of where they thought you was and where they knew where they were.
Yes.
And I've been on both sides of that. I've done that to people and people have done that to me. And I think there's a whole bunch of apologies that I made to people in the book. But then there's people that owe me apologies as well. And I think this isn't a victim thing. This is just about going through life and really kind of, being honest about how this game can be. And, I'd say 60% of the book ain't about the industry. It's about life and what I've been through and my real moments why I didn't speak to my mum for 10 years and, my relationship with my brothers and sisters and being in foster care and things that happened in the foster care home that made my life go in this direction and friends and a whole bunch of stuff that I feel like I've carried all of these things. And when you write...
Cathartic, isn't it?
Yeah. But
That's
when you
what I
write,
do.
you release. There's a heavy load that escapes you. And then when you make it funny with the stand-up, then it's another layer that you're ripping off. Just I'm trying to say it. And again, it's about being free. I don't want anyone to have nothing on me. So it's my job to say it first, kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, man.
Love that.
But I appreciate you having me. It's been a good conversation.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us on this episode. Like, share, and subscribe. And we will be back again next month with a new episode. Take care. God bless.
Peace. Boom.
Oh my gosh, that was long, isn't it? I kept looking at the time and thinking, I hope my son has found this done what he needed to do. I was supposed to phone someone to remind my godmother that he was coming, but he must be there.
I didn't bother you, so.
Oh, gosh.
Well, he hasn't got a phone because he's only 10, and I'm not into this phone thing yet. But he just had to. It's just walking from one place to another. He knows what I spoke this morning, but I was supposed to remind my godmother because he didn't come last week. Anyway,
Listen to this and tell me what you think.
Incredible Italian guy since October. We start, ladies, I need advice. I'm 25 and I've been dating this incredible Italian guy